Welcome back to another episode of the Expansion Podcast. I'm so happy you're here. We are diving deep into stagnant energy. It is really the core part of one of the core parts of what I support women in doing is releasing all the stagnant energy, and it goes much deeper than most of us are aware of. So I'm here to bring on the awareness, and I hope that you are ready and buckled up to receive all of this. Some of it may already be familiar. Some of it is what I've seen in the last 10 years of helping women decode the energies within them and what they're facing to really align and be the energetic match, the frequency match to their most abundant, beautiful, highest timeline possible. And this is a core step in that. When we release stagnant energy or energy blocks that are in our way, we can make space to bring in the new that you're trying to call in, the new that you're trying to manifest into your life. And it really starts and is rooted in the root causes of stagnant energy in your life. So let's dive in, okay? This episode is for anyone who, really feels stuck in life. Like you're running, I always explain it this way, like you're running on a hamster wheel that you can't seem to get off of. And it doesn't matter how many modalities you do or practices or rituals or spiritual retreats you go on. It's like they shift something there, but then it's like we just can't seem to fully grab hold of that newness we're bringing in. And I'm going to just use that word because it's the best word to encapsulate newness for if that's a new timeline, if that's a new job, if that's a new relationship, if that's new money, if that's more money, if that's a new way you want your life to look, if that's a new version of ourselves, which is always that we're cultivating, which is always a massive part in how we bring in and carve that path out of our new timeline or our newness. Okay. And it just feels like, like there's a piece of information that is missing. Like you're running around doing all these things, doing all these practices, setting your alarm clocks to get up to do that meditation, that journal prompt question. It's like nothing seems to stick in the way that you are wanting it to stick, that you're thinking it should stick. So this is where stagnant energy, and there's three places, that's a great word for it, that I've seen it and where it comes from and the roots of it. And this is all meant to help you have the awareness you need to bringing your purpose, connect with it, be that energetic match and that frequency of where you're headed next, where you see your life. Because when we have a vision in our hearts and we can see it and we can feel it and we can have moments of breathing that all in, there is a reality, a timeline where that exists already. So it's already done. It's already existing somewhere. We just need to make you the energetic match to align with it, to effortlessly bring it in. Okay. So this is why this is one of the very, very core things of what I do with the women I work with. So here are the three main sources of stagnant energy that I'm going to dive into deeper. There's parallel lives. Okay. This is often referred to in the spiritual community as past lives. There are your current lifetime, what's happening here, and environments and relationships that you are in. That's a big one. So let's dive into parallel lives. And I'm going to give you some examples I've seen, okay? Because I really find that that's super helpful in understanding how this works, because energy is something we're talking about more and more frequently now and learning about. It's like that missing link of information that we all need, at least I feel everyone needs to know about, which is why I'm so passionate about teaching it. So let's dive in. Parallel lives or past lives, I'm going to, from here on out, be referring to it as parallel lives because and here's the kicker here, here's where the stagnant energy part comes in. They are still happening in some multidimensional space or reality. We can't see it, but we are connected to it. There is like a tether, like an energetic tether, okay, let's call it into our subconscious mind or somewhere in our energy field where it is connected to. And there might be tons of cord cutting exercises that you've done. And I'm happy if they've worked. That's amazing because they are very powerful. But sometimes we need a little bit more. And that's why I made this episode, because sometimes we need a little bit more. The education is needed to be here. So let's dive in. in our parallel lives, we've had experiences that maybe have caused a what's the word here I'm looking for? A memory, okay? A memory imprinting in your subconscious mind that is linked to that tether. Let's say it's a memory of you in a parallel life where you lived as a woman who, ooh, this is one I see all the time. And I've lived through myself and had to transmute in this lifetime to get on my highest timeline too. So where you were doing what you're doing, you're interested in spirituality, you're finding your life's purpose in that calling, and you're connected to the most potent and powerful part of yourself, which is your spiritual path and your higher self. That's where every woman's divine intuitive power is and lies, and is connected to the most abundant timeline of her life, of her existence. And maybe you were living that life in a parallel lifetime, but many of us were burned at the stake. We were hunted and killed. We stoned to death, and we had people in the crowd coming to watch. And what that does to a woman in this lifetime, this is something that I've seen with one of my clients, many of my clients actually, but working really, really hard. She needed a little bit more of energy support and healing in this area of dissolving that block, because she had such a massive vision for herself, but it's no matter what she did, it wasn't all piecing together, because the idea of her coming out of the spiritual closet as someone who had healing abilities or wanted to help people in the world create beautiful, massive impact through her own spiritual gifts, whether that's through energetic body work or tarot reading or energy healing or becoming a spiritual coach or whatever it is, it's like imposter syndrome was eating her alive. And she had so much self-doubt and a deep fear of coming out of the closet, spiritual closet. She just held back and she kept playing small and she kept dimming her light, because this parallel life is still connected to that tether energetically in her subconscious mind, telling her, no, you can't. You're going to die if you do that. You're going to get stoned. You're going to get really hurt. And these are memories and energetic imprints that are happening on a subconscious level. So we're not aware of them. But the most amazing thing about energy work is that most of the time, when you become aware of that and you identify the tether and you identify the energy, and you're like, holy moly, yeah, like I really resonate with that, and that really hits. And I can see how me feeling visible and being bright in my gifts and in my power can feel like life-threatening to me. It can make me just want to stay comfortable and in my shell and just not want to pursue this big dream I have or create other blocks in my confusion, because my body and my memory and my soul is trying to protect me from that reoccurring. So we have to go in and we mend up that tether, and we dissolve the block that's there. And then everything the energy that she's calling in started to just come effortlessly and naturally. So she built that business and she got those clients and she became this version of herself and stepped into her power in such a way that it's like a miracle. That's why I say, like, you can call in what miracles mean to you, your versions of miracles, and they're waiting there. It's just a matter of removing the stagnant energy to allow that to come in. All right, so take a breath with me for that one, and let's dive into the current lifetime. So many of the women that I work with and many of the women in the spiritual space have had in their current lifetime experiences many scenarios where either their parallel life subconscious imprinting of trauma has been reopened through their current life experiences. And what that does is it creates this ripple effect in their current lifetime that keeps those energetic patterns on repeat. So energy runs on patterns. They love patterns. So it's great that they don't love patterns, but that's what they do. That's the energetic laws. Everything runs on an energetic pattern. So the whole universe does. So when we understand that concept, we can really understand that when we decide to reprogram our energetic patterns, which is subconscious inner work, and going into our parallel lives and reprogramming the energy that's there, aka removing the energetic block, and then filling it with light and healing and love, then that's when we can get off the hamster wheel. It just happens. It doesn't take, and this is where I always say, like, it is that easy. Like, energetically, it is that easy, but it's hard for our our human selves to our human part of ourselves when we've been told something for so long that it has to be harder, especially if you have that belief systems in your subconscious mind already operating, that things just have to be harder. I'm telling you, it doesn't have to be. Okay. It is that simple when you're working with energy patterns. And instead of them working against you, keeping all the stagnant energy just going on repeat, going, and keeping you stuck in one spot, we can reprogram once everything's removed, we reprogram your energy patterns to work in your favor. So you can effortlessly call in anything that you desire, a life of abundance and love and joy and fulfillment and purpose, so that everything makes sense. This is where I mean, like, you're the energetic match of you're the energetic match of your highest calling. Yeah. So your current lifetime is the greatest, I think the greatest tool we have, because when we're present, okay, in our lives, meaning we have cultivated awareness with information that resonates with us, that we can now easily pinpoint, like, oh my gosh, okay, like the example before, my body feels like it's terrified to come out of the spiritual closet and do what I meant to do. Okay, walk that path because it's trying to protect me. Because in other lifetimes that I apparently am tethered to, which I didn't know before, but now I know, which makes total sense, I can work through that in a very intentional way. And what is one of the energetic laws? Wherever your focus goes, energy flows. So if your intention, okay, energy needs intentions to move. That's how we move the energy. So if your intentions are there, then you can easily do that for yourself. Okay. So our current lifetime also can carry, this is the last point, and then we're going to move to environments, relationships, which is a big one. In our current life, we will constantly be in that energetic pattern if we still are holding those frequencies, those memories, those energy blocks, and that's wherever that stagnant energy is coming from, to keep having the same experiences repeated. Okay. So if one of your energy patterns is being in relationships that you're not truly seen or heard, which could weave into the parallel lifetime that we spoke about before, where people, you were burned at the stake because you weren't really truly seen or heard for your brilliance and your light. People thought it was a threat, right? I've even seen the same souls a part of, watching that person, that woman burn at the stake because they believed that that was true, and then seeing those same souls in the lives of the people, the women that I work with in this current lifetime. Sounds wild, sounds crazy, but this is what I've seen. Alrighty, let's move into environments and relationships. This is happening on both a subconscious level and a conscious one. Okay, so I want you to be so kind to yourself as I and to others, which I'm sure you already are, but this may just heighten your awareness with this. Every thought, words that you speak, even if they're subconscious thoughts that we don't even know we're thinking about someone else or a situation, or feelings you have towards somebody, their subconscious mind picks up on it. So if you know that, and you knew you had that type of power on somebody and the result of their life and how they feel every day, I mean, that is a big power shift. And how much you yourself have power to move energy, but also how much we affect one another and how connected we really are. That's a big thing. So this is why I constantly, you'll see if you've been following me along for a while, you will see me always saying your environment is everything. There's the energetic law of entrainment, which I weave in there. But it is like, if you are trying to step into the fullest version of yourself, your higher self, your big purpose on that soul level, and you're surrounded by people surrounded by people in the workplace and close in your personal life in any way that either are not doing that from themselves and also view you a certain way, and they think certain things about you. Maybe they're saying them to your face. Maybe people are gossiping behind your back about you in not the best way. That you will pick up on that subconsciously. Okay. So this is where, if you feel, I've seen this where you will feel maybe really anxious going to certain social spaces and you don't know why. That's why. Okay, that's one of the reasons why. There's an energetic disconnect or discord there that we are picking up subconsciously. If you have a calling or an intuitive nudge, like, you know what, I think I need to create space for myself, especially as I'm building and calling in my new big, beautiful life and my vision, space from certain environments that you once loved to be in. And maybe they're just not they're not the energetic match that they felt like before, because you've grown and shifted so much and you've put in so much work. It's kind of like you are aware of it, and you have this sort of, I call it like a ball and chain. It feels like it's like stuck on your ankle, and we keep going to visit these places and we keep trying to fit into them. But there's this inner knowingness of, I think I need space from these spaces to call in what I'm calling in, and to step into all that I am. You can sense it, you can feel it. Most of the people that follow me are very, very sensitive to energy, and on their spiritual awakening journey, and they're noticing these things. And we have all this self-doubt we're carrying. I'm telling you, listen to yourself, your inner compass and your inner knowingness. It knows. It knows. We are all reading energy all the time. We just don't know it. I constantly watch movies and social media accounts and all this media that I consume. Not that I consume like so much media, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying the media that I do consume is, I always am saying to myself, wow, that person's reading energy, but they don't know it. Maybe they do. That person's reading energy and they don't know it. We're always doing it. So listen to yourself. Okay. Listen, and create the boundaries that you feel you need, despite how that's going to affect somebody else, because how it's affecting you matters. You matter. Your purpose matters. Your joy and your freedom matters. Your voice matters. Your ideas matter. What you want to birth in the world matters. So just let that sink in. And then you can set the intention. I tell my clients all the time to call in the community that is going to be that energetic fit, that's going to help lift you up. And it's always women that are, or people or environments that are trying to accomplish the same thing as you, you know? And that's where energy patterning becomes even more powerful, because when you surround yourself with those energies, environments, and people that see you for you, and you're big, and they're like, yes, you know what? That is brilliant. That's brilliant. You're brilliant. Look at that idea. Look, it's going to happen for you. It's going to happen. It's naturally within you. That's your gift. And you start hearing that, and that's your feedback. Then your subconscious just picks that up, and then the energetic patterns start to shifting you too. This is why group work, and I have so many, and my programs are built in community platforms, because we are missing this so much. And it's such a vital part of our growth and reaching our highest potential, is being seen, heard, loved, and supported safely. Yes, you want to go out and start your own healing business online and become extremely successful and make beautiful healing impact in the world. You can do that. Yes, you can. You have spiritual gifts that you want to grow and expand so you can come into your full power and use them for the greater good of those around you and the world. Yes, you can do that. You totally can. It's safe to do that. Alrighty. I'm just going to, before we close, I just want to thank everyone for being here and on this journey and being brave. I see you. You're brave. You're being so miraculously brave. So remember that today and moving forward, and honor your bravery, because it's huge. It's massive. The shifts you're doing, the evolution you're creating, it has a ripple effect into your life and onto the planet, and it matters. Alrighty. I'm just going to take a minute to see if anything else wants to come through here before we close. Okay. So I'm seeing a stone, okay, and a foot. That means whenever I see that, that's my sign and symbol to express that the path in front of you, sometimes that can be part of what keeps us, the fear there of stepping into the unknown, stepping outside of this very curated and systematic path we've all been told is the path. That's what you do in life. You know, you go to school, you get the job, you make the money, and you have kids, and that's the path. So or some version of that. So the message here is that the next step will always be there when it's ready to be there. So I'm going to say that again. The next step will always be there when it will be visible. You will clearly see it when it's ready to be there. And there's a massive journey on trust there. If you are needing and wanting and feeling called to dive into learning how to trust yourself in a way that is super solid, and you need a spiritual framework or a roadmap to really build that foundation for you, I am hosting a live masterclass event on May 13th. And I am so excited to just share all this information, because it's coming up so much that roadmap, that spiritual framework that every woman needs to rebuild the trust within her, to reconnect to her inner power and her intuition that feels solid, confident, and clear. Okay. So I'd love for you to join me. I'm going to put the link in the show notes where you can sign up for that masterclass, and you're going to start receiving emails of a time and the date and the link to join. And I'm so excited to see you in that space. And I'm so excited you're here and doing this work and walking your authenticity, your path of authenticity, and following your intuitive nudges. Alrighty. Have the most beautiful rest of your day, night, wherever you are in the world. I'm sending so much love.